For this video, I'm going to be talking about the extras and add-ons of DistroKid. In case you didn't know, DistroKid is basically an independent music distributor, so if you have some songs and you want to throw them on there, it'll be put to iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, and every other streaming and downloading music platform. Now, DistroKid itself is $20 a year for unlimited uploads, which is awesome. If you want to upload a song a day, 365 songs for an entire year, it's only $20, which is insane. And you get 100% of the profits. It's not like DistroKid takes out 10 or 20% of whatever you earn. And a lot of times people say, like, okay, Mark, that sounds great, but there's got to be a catch, right? $20 a year is so much cheaper than any other music platform. There's got to be some hidden fee or something. And there is and isn't. There's a little bit of an asterisk to that. The truth is, it is only $20 a year to upload as much as you want. However, the add-ons are super crucial and they're not included in that $20. So basically in this video, I'm going to explain what the add-ons are, the different ones you can add on to the tracks that you're uploading, and I'm going to give you my honest perspective. Should you do it? Should you not? Basically the pros and the cons of all these different add-ons. And for this video, they're basically 4. So like I said, some are good, some are not as good. I'm going to go right into it. Number 1, YouTube Money. Now this one is $4.95 a year for one song, or $14.95 a year for an entire album, and also 20% of the revenue. Now essentially, if you don't know YouTube Money, I guarantee you definitely encountered this. If, like, say you go on YouTube, you post a video and you use a song from another artist and you don't have the rights to it, it will say, oh, copyright infringement, essentially saying, hey, your video can still be on YouTube, but all the money you can make from that video is going to go to that artist. And this is what happens basically with DistroKid. Now, my honest perspective of this one, right off the bat, if you want to be honest, when it comes to YouTube Money, I would say not to do it. Now, I don't know if this is something with DistroKid or with YouTube, or it could be both. I don't know, because here's what I mean. I'm going to back up a little bit. Sometimes people say, like, hey, Mark, it's really frustrating. I upload a song on DistroKid, and DistroKid rejects it, saying my artwork is too small, or the wording of my song doesn't work. I have to rechange it. But the truth is, that isn't necessarily DistroKid's fault. Is that iTunes and Amazon, all these platforms, are incredibly strict about the formatting of certain songs, the titles, the artwork, all these different things. So sometimes it's not even DistroKid. They're just saying, hey, we can even send this to iTunes, because they're going to say no. So we're just telling you before you even do, you just got to change it. This could be the case for YouTube, because I will say that for me, I have some of my songs put into this basic add-on. I basically spend the extra money a year for a couple songs, and I've seen a lot of videos that have used my songs, particularly the ones that I've done this for, and YouTube has not been flagged. I've gotten no money from DistroKid, so it's kind of frustrating. I do know that YouTube's getting tricky with this, and this could be a whole subject for a whole different video, but the main issue is things like splice sounds, loopman. What they're doing is, in case you didn't know, they're releasing samples and you can download them for free. So let's say I have a sample that I got off Looperman or Splice Sounds or another pack that's like bum 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 bum. And let's say me and 100 other producers do that same bum 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 bum. Well, the tricky thing is that although we all have the legal rights to use it, we all have the legal rights to put it on YouTube and make money off it, if I say, hey, you know what, this is my song, if anyone uses it in their YouTube video, I should get the money. Then the other 100 producers might be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean? Like, I'm the one that used that sample. I should get the money. So it's a tricky thing with YouTube right now in terms of flagging songs and giving the revenue to the rightful owner. Because technically, me and, like I said, the other 100 producers, we have the rights to that. So I do know DistroKid right now is in a tricky place with it. So for that reason, for the reasons of, I think, just YouTube trying to figure out this whole game of sampling and royalty-free samples, it makes it a lot more difficult. Is what artist should get the revenue? We all have the rights to that one sample, for example, but it's just tricky. Obviously, if you have a song that 100% of the samples are yours, you didn't get it from any database or libraries, it's all yours, that's a little bit easier, but it's still a tricky process. I think, especially music been evolving, is very, very difficult. So anyway, enough rambling on. Essentially what I'm saying is that for YouTube Money, being honest, I don't think this add-on is worth it. Like I said, I've even tried it for some of my songs that are 100% all my own samples, and it still hasn't been recognized on YouTube. And I know videos, mine and other videos that have used that song, and it's still not been flagged, and I've not seen a cent. So from that perspective, I don't think the add-on at all, being honest, is worth it. Number 2, Store Maximizer. Now, one of the best things about DistroKid, in my opinion, is that they're constantly adding more and more stores. I mean, I don't even know, if I have to be honest, how many stores my music's in. I mean, it's probably over 30 or 40. I mean, you have the big ones like iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, then you have Pandora, Deezer, Tidal, Rdio, Claro Musica, Google Play, YouTube Music itself, iHeartRadio. I think now my music's on that too. So like, DistroKid is constantly adding these new platforms. And with Store Maximizer, what that does essentially says is this, is every single time that they add a new store, your music will immediately be sent to that store. Now this is $7.95 a year for that song or album, and in my opinion, I don't think it's worth it. And here's the reason why. I do think it's convenient. For example, if you're somebody who has $1 billion, this will work. You're probably like, whatever, like the extra $8 a year, why not for this one song or album? Because that way there's a new store, you immediately get sent to it, I don't even have to touch anything. But if you're watching this and you're an independent musician, more likely than not, you probably don't have $1 billion. So in this case, what you can do, if let's say you hear, oh, you know what, we just added a new store, Joe Schmo's Music, right? And a new distributor that people can download and stream your music from Joe Schmo's Music store or whatever. What you can do is you can go to your songs under basically your music on the DistroKid basically platform, click your song, and it says stores, you click add, and you can immediately select that. So you can do this manually. Now I will say for me, I've uploaded tons of singles, EPs, and albums to DistroKid. So if DistroKid does, upload or basically add a new song, a new platform to their database, it is a bit of a tedious process. I really have to click every single EP and album, go down to the bottom of the screen, click add, click the new store, and then click add to that store, and I have to do it for all of them. It's a bit tedious, but the truth is that process takes maybe, 10-15 minutes maximum. And with the amount of songs I've uploaded on DistroKid, I don't know how many, it's probably close to maybe at least 50 to be honest. 50 times 8 is 400. That's an extra $400 a year I'm saving with those extra 15 minutes just myself adding it manually. So although this add-on can be convenient, I just personally don't think it's worth it. Number 3, Shazam and iPhone Siri. Now the first two ones that I mentioned were kind of like, it's just not worth it. This one, 100%. Like you 100% should include the Shazam and iPhone Siri in terms of your music budget, essentially. This is 99 cents a song per year, and I promise you this is a big thing. Obviously, in case you don't know, I'm assuming if you're a musician you know, but in case you don't know iPhone Siri or Shazam, essentially what that is actually someone's playing a song, and you're like, wow, this is a really good song. You take out Shazam or your iPhone, you hit a certain button, it listens to the song and tells you exactly what that song is. Especially with me being an electronic musician and a DJ, it's a very, very common thing in the electronic music world that DJs will spin other artists' tracks. They'll kind of mix them in. So especially at shows, I've gotten literally thousands and upon thousands of Shazams all around the world, and I don't know how, to be honest. Sometimes Shazam isn't the best, and this is on Shazam's side. Shazam's okay about demographics, but not the best. Like, it'd be cool to know, like, hey Mark, someone just Shazammed your song in Paris, France at this one event, but sometimes it's tough to set, But anyway, it is cool to know that, and I'm just assuming that, like, say, are all around the world, some DJ somewhere, some DJs are playing my songs, or maybe it's at a college party that people are listening to my EDM tracks, or whatever the case is. But essentially, that extra $1 a year really is important, because if you're a musician, my guess is you don't want it to just be somebody who's in the background. You want people to know, recognize, and celebrate your music. So if someone's at a really good party, or let's say they're at a show and someone's playing your song, they're like, wow, this is a good song. They Shazam it, it says Joe Schmo by DJ Joe Schmo or whatever. Then bam, they can immediately see that track like, oh sweet, I'm gonna download this tonight or whatever. So even though, let's say for me, I've, like I said, about 50-ish songs, probably even more, but I'll just round it, 50-ish songs on DistroKid, it's probably an extra $50 a year for me. But I guarantee I make more money in the long run from those people Shazamming my songs than maybe downloading them, than maybe streaming them or interacting with them or however they do it. So that extra $1 a year 100% worth it. And lastly, number 4 is the Leave a Legacy add-on. This one's very interesting. So this one is either $29 one time for one song or $49 one time for an album. And here's what basically Leave a Legacy is. Here's how it works essentially. Is, in case you didn't know, if let's say your credit card goes under or whatever, or let's say something happens to your credit card, and let's say DistroKid is like, hey, we're not able to process your payment, after a certain period of time, DistroKid will pull all of your music off iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, basically all those platforms, 100% gone. In addition, let's say in a horrible event, and actually DistroKid I didn't think it was that bad, but DistroKid got in some trouble. They basically sent out an email saying, hey, we all died. And they were saying it a little bit morbid, but they were saying, hey, if let's say you die, and let's say your credit card obviously gets removed off file, inevitably at some point, because we can't process your payment, your music will be pulled down. Hence the idea, Leave a Legacy. So the idea is for, like I said, a one-time fee of $29 for a song or $49 for an album. No matter whatever happens, whether your credit card goes under, whether you obviously pass away, or whatever happens, your music will permanently be stuck on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, all these different things, unless you manually decide to go up and take it down. This one is very optional. I'm on the fence about this one. I've had a lot of people saying to me, like, hey, Mark, what do you think about this Leave a Legacy? I don't think it's that big of an issue for me. I mean, I pay my payments on time. If I do get a new credit card, I immediately re-update it with DistroKid. I don't really see a need for this one. And this one is I'm on the fence. I think, it does seem like a lot. $29 for one song, obviously, and then $49 for an album. But I do think this one, especially for a song that you really, really like. I mean, like I said, even though DistroKid did get some flack, they all right. We're all gonna die. One of the inevitables of life, death and taxes. We are gonna die, and you never know when. And I know I'm not trying to get super morbid here, but obviously their perspective on this one is, hey, you pay that money, it's a one-time thing, which I think is pretty cool, and you don't have to worry about it ever again. It's gonna be permanently on there no matter what happens to your credit cards. Like, say you go bankrupt, let's say you don't have the money. Like, you have the credit card, but you can't pay it. You have this option. I'm on the fence about this one. I don't think it's necessary, but I think it's a good idea. And in addition to, you still get 100% of the profits. It's not like, you spend $29 for one time to have your song, but they take 7% of your earnings or something. This one is 100%, you earn as much as you want forever. So if, let's say you upload one album once, you pay this, $49 for that album, you never upload anything ever again, you can still reap in 100% of the profits from that album. So I think there is a lot of usefulness to it. I think that especially if you do have the revenue, let's say if you release, for example, only an album a year, let's say you don't release a lot of tracks, you just focus on one really, really good album every year, the $49, I think it is worth it. If you look at it, it's a $49 one-time thing, that's like what? Going out to eat, especially if you go to a nice restaurant, it's usually more than that, so $49 to me isn't that bad, and $20 for a single, that is a lot. I feel like if you are going to do the Leave a Legacy, do it more for an album, because, $29 for one single, if you double 29, that's 58, so if you have two singles, that's immediately more than an album, so you might as well do it for an album. But anyway, I do think this one is worth it, being honest. I do think it is worth it because it just it gives you that kind of comfort. Because think about it, especially me as a musician, I pay everything on time to DistroKid. I've never had an issue with DistroKid, but it's still a bit of a scary thought, thinking like, wow, if something ever happened, the thought of all my music, all those, God knows how many hours I've spent on those tracks being taken down off stores, it's a bit nerve-wracking. It gives me some anxiety. So, it depends. It depends on your situation. Obviously, everyone's situation is different, but I do like to Leave a Legacy add-on. I think it can be very useful, but not 100% necessary.